Okay, so continuing with setting up a lifetime trust. So I think that we move forward with our estate planning matters when we're ready to take action, right? So oftentimes people start with basic estate planning documents, and that's fine. But there may be a time when you start thinking about, is there something else that could be helpful here? And that's when I really do want you to think about common sense approaches and reasons to set up a lifetime trust. It could be as simple as I feel it would be in my best interest to either have a co trustee in the event that I need some help with my assets during life. And I can even have this co trustee helping me manage my assets, or I want to make sure a successor trustee can take over and act on my behalf with the assets in trust in the event that I can't. And both ways are meant to be very proactive with your assets because you want to feel a sense of peace about knowing that in the event there are going to be some decisions that have to be made, you have a co trustee who's going to help you, or in the event there's a medical emergency or an accident, you've got a successor trustee who's going to be able to totally act on your behalf with a set of instructions in the trust agreement. So it's just a different kind of approach as far as how you feel you want to move forward. And this is completely different, let's say, than setting up those basic estate planning documents and kind of relying on them if needed. So in this case, it would be relying on an agent under a power of attorney. And it can at least give some comfort knowing that you've got a person who can act on your behalf, but it doesn't provide the set of instructions. It also doesn't give you comfort knowing that financial institutions will be able to accept the agent when there is a time of need. There could be all sorts of roadblocks in place. And it certainly doesn't do anything as far as asset protection or avoiding probate. So you can start thinking about what would work for you and then try and work with your estate planning attorney on setting up the appropriate trust. I mentioned last time that you can have a revocable trust or an irrevocable trust, or perhaps both. Reasons for one, reasons for the other. You want to set up two different kinds of trusts. Now, let's think about just some other kind of common sense reasons why you might want to set up a lifetime trust. One would be to prevent elder abuse. So all sorts of people out there are scamming and finding ways to take advantage of people who have started to have some cognitive decline, or just even, feeling very lonely, enjoy the comfort of others, and start to really feel bad and want to do something that they really didn't want to do, but there's this kind of influence going on. So that's just a great way to think about combating that type of abuse. And people are really sly with this, right? So we've got to be in front of it. We've got to set things up and get things going before there's a problem. Now, another reason would be that you have a business. And with all the hard work and energy and effort, time and dedication that you put into this business, you want to set up a trust to make sure that if there's a time during your life you can't act for whatever reason, you've got the right person who can wear all the hats that you do and take over and manage the business and the business interests. And everybody will be affected by that, right? We don't want to see the business negatively impacted when you can't function like you normally do. And so we'd have all the right instructions in place, including empowering that trustee to retain certain other professionals so that they can do the job that's necessary considering the circumstances. Now, some people really could benefit from knowing that everything doesn't have to go through this thing called probate when they pass. And probate can either be not so bad or really just the worst. It just depends on a whole host of factors. But what I think is so crucial is that when you set up a lifetime trust and you fund that trust with assets, there is a level of control that you've provided, and that control means everything to me. You've given the trustee instructions, you've set things up in advance. That trustee can go ahead and do what is needed in a time of need. So even when a person passes, there doesn't need to be this big rush to get all these documents prepared and ready and filed with surrogate's court and wait so many months before we have authority, before we can do anything. We've got a person who can just effectively and efficiently do what's necessary and be in control. So just some ideas about setting up a trust. I think that people should give themselves the opportunity to brainstorm and to think about things that can be very helpful. It can be as simple or as kind of complicated as you want. This was just some initial thoughts as far as getting some ideas out there. And I hope this did help you. I never really asked for people to subscribe to the channel, but I think it's about time I say, if you enjoyed the content or any of my videos, please do subscribe. I really would appreciate that. This is Ruth George with Ruth P. George Law, PLLC, Trust and Estate Attorney. This video, as with any video I do put out, is for educational purposes only. It does not establish an attorney-client relationship, and I hope to see you on another video.